YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that basketball analysis on analysisplayground.com and on YouTube. We're going to talk about the top five power forwards in the NBA for the 2024-2025 season going into that year and going into the season that's next. Lauri Markkanen is my honorable mention. He was the guy that's been mentioned all over trade news, especially being linked to the Golden State Warriors and other teams because of what he's been able to turn his career around and do. He can hit the three. He can be able to put the ball on the floor. He can make a free throw. And, of course, he can finish around the rim. They call him Lauri the finisher marketing. And he does finish plays his way and his style. It took him a while to become the player that he is today. But by having the work ethic that's needed and having the devotion that's needed, it turned him into one of the best players in general in the NBA and one of the top players at his position. He just barely misses because of his defense, because of his ability just to be great at shooting and nothing really crazy. But other guys rebound better, they defend better, and they're able to do more things that Lauri Markkanen just can't do right now, but possibly can do and add to his game next season. So it's worth mentioning him. Number five, Zion Williamson. You know I had that breakdown on Zion Himmerson. He became his own version of what he does at his best, and that's powering past people, pushing people out the way, finishing hard, finishing strong, getting rebounds at a decent clip, showing potential on the defensive end at the same time, and just being a guy that's virtually unguardable when he wants to be, and he can just draw a foul at worst case scenario just to still be able to put points on the board. And we see what Zion has been able to do. He has helped lead this Pelican teams back to the playoffs ever since Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday left. And that just shows you his leadership. Obviously, you want him to stay healthy as he has missed another time playing in the playoffs, missing every single game, and that just hurts their future because you want to be able to see how good this team is when everybody's healthy, and you only keep getting small sample size of it as somebody's always injured in that starting lineup, and you never really get to see what all you have. And Zion is just a guy that you want to build around him. You believe he can do it. He's just not there enough for you to be able to see it into fruition, and it's just sad to see it. But when it comes to talent, when it comes to scoring, when it comes to just being able to rebound solidly and being able to be a brute force, Zion Williamson is just too big, just too strong, just too fast for anybody that's in front of him, and he just takes full advantage of it. And his body has to take that toll. You might be bigger and stronger, but some of these centers and some of these power forwards are just as big and strong as you, and that's why you see them get injured a lot more than you've seen them get injured in high school and college. But it's something that we knew because of his play style. He need to add a little bit more finesse, a little bit of a mid-range, a little bit of a three, but not overusing them where he loses his aggression and his killer mentality that he has going to the paint. But it would be good to see him healthier and switch things up just a little bit, just so his game can age a little bit more gracefully instead of seeing him on the bench trying to heal up. Number four, Domantas Sabonis. He has been an All NBA player pretty much every single year that he's been in Sacramento almost, and he always been that all-star that just get tacked on like an honorable mention, but he's really showing himself a great career going to the West Side, rebounding the ball well, scoring the ball well, passing the ball well, screening to help his teammates get easier opportunities and things that they normally couldn't get themselves. He's able to help them do that, and that's the purpose of being a teammate. And I just love what I've seen out of Sabonis, and I like the fact that he can shoot free throws, he can score with any hand in the post, and he just simplifies his game and really just shows you how great he really is. He's not doing anything crazy. He's not doing anything mind blowing. He just playing the game the way it should be played and doing it the right way, even on the defensive end, keeping your hands up, keeping them active, keeping them moving. Even though you may not be the quickest, fastest guy or the greatest rim protector, at least you can do is contort or contest or force them to do those things because of your contesting type of defense. And I think that makes a lot of sense for him to continue to, dominate the best way you know how to. And most people don't know what to do with this guy on the defensive end because he has so many things he can do. And I like the fact that he's trying to show you, even in OKC, I can possibly be a decent 3-point shooter, and I can shoot it when needed, but I don't have to use it every single time to be known as a weapon. But if he can make it and he can try to stay aggressive in the paint, then that's the type of Sabonis that you want. But that's why I have him at number 4. Number 3, Kevin Wayne Durant. He's a guy that everybody respects, everybody likes when it comes to what he can do on the basketball court. You can't stop him from the 3-point line. You can't stop him from the mid-range. He's able to post up in the high post. He's able to post up in the low post. He's able to finish with either hand and actually finish with dunks. He can actually make free throws too. And the fact that he has the handle to get wherever he wants on the court, and he can score however he wants on the court with that finesse touch, it's hard to stop Kevin Durant, especially when he wants to defend or he feel like a team is competitive and he has to play his best game and he has to get up for those games because they're going to be talking their stuff and they're going to be pushing him to be great like he's always been pretty much from day one in the NBA. And he's still showing you that he is one of the best players in the NBA and one of the best players at his position. And this is a guy that's in his mid-30s, still putting up 27 a game. That's tough. That's hard to do, and not too many NBA legends have done that themselves, especially this late in the stage. But he still has some mental problems. He's been talking himself to sleep and talking himself into a casket. But when it comes to playing on the court, it's not too many people that can score the way Kevin Durant scores and facilitate the way he facilitates and handles, the pressure as he does. I know he has crumbled in Brooklyn. I know he's been crumbling in Phoenix. I know he came up a little short in OKC, but we still have to look at the fact that he has won titles, even though he did it a way that wasn't, consistently favored as everybody else's opinion, but he still got it done. And he still won the MVP and he's still been dominant for 10 plus years, so the longevity is there and his play has always evolved and always changed depending on who's around him and who's playing with him, and you got to give him credit for that, even though he got a little snake in him that's been biting him because he knew he left Golden State for the wrong reason and went to teams that was inferior. If you're literally trying to win a title, you're going to need more talent. People say, how much talent do Kevin Durant do? How much talent do he need to win titles? Maybe he do need a top-loaded team because that's what Brooklyn started becoming after a while. Let's get this guy. Let's get this guy. Let's get this guy. And they still wasn't even a top 3 team in the East. And they had all that talent, and a lot of it does have to do with Kevin Durant not being healthy. And I know the first year in Phoenix, he wasn't really healthy. He had a more healthier season this year, and all you can do is see him struggling to fit in with his teammates and seeing that they're not hooked on keeping him long term. But this is his last year. We'll see what he does, in Phoenix and see if he can have a resurrection type of season where you can see him playing even higher level than he played before because he should be healthier now after Achilles injury. And I just hope that he is so we can see the killer Kevin Durant that we've seen when he won the MVP in OKC and the ones that we've seen when he was averaging 35 in the finals or 30 points per game in the finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we'll see what happens. Number 2, Anthony Davis. He is one of the best rim protectors. He's one of the best finishers. He's a great free throw shooter. He can make the mid range. He can make the 3 if it's needed. He's a great support character because he knows how to blend in and blend out and not demand the ball too much. People say he could be an alpha like we seen to New Orleans if he was just a little bit more demanding, if he was a little bit more willing to, want to conquer the game. But he also knows that with LeBron James, you don't really have to do that because he won championship with that same type of platonic style where I'd rather make the winning play instead of being a killer because I might have some killers on my team or I might have some people with that opportunity that want it just as much as I do so I can depend on the team way to do it since it is a team sport. And it actually worked in 2020. Hasn't really worked out as their teammates haven't been as great and hasn't really been delivering as much. So you need them to step their play up like they did in the bubble, especially in the finals, especially against Denver. If they're going to play like that, that's going to be one of the toughest teams to beat, and that's why they won a championship so easily that year. But they haven't been able to find the right group of guys, and they haven't been able to step up like they've been able to step up in 2020. And it's unfortunate, but it's a team sport. But when we look at an individual, the length, the size, the scoring, the blocks, the rebounds, and the fact that you can do whatever a power forward should be able to do and still be able to do it defensively. The only person that does it better is Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was able to lead a team as the best player to the championship as a power forward, especially without a stacked roster. The only player that was all-star caliber at the time was Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, but they wasn't that particular year. But they was able to get to that level eventually. And I think that that's what's important about Giannis. You don't look at Chris Middleton, Drew Holidays as superstars like you would look at a LeBron James or Devin Booker or a De'Aaron Fox, who's an All NBA player also, or Zion playing with Ingram and CJ, and now DeJounte Murray, who was an All Star and All NBA defender. And you look at those guys and say, well, Giannis had to dominate, averaging, getting that 50-point game. He had to average 30 points per game. He had to be the aggressor because you don't want this opportunity to slip, and you can take advantage of and get it done right now. And you got to give credit to what he has done as a defender, as a guy that done average 30 and 10 even last year, even though he was injured at the end and didn't play in the playoffs. He still was able to average the 30 point and 10 rebounds, and nobody on this list was able to do that in their entire career. And he has done it and or came close to doing it multiple times, and that's why he's a multiple time MVP and the defensive player of the year, and a guy that done everything, including if I'm not rebounding and defending, I'm just taking over the game. Even if I can't shoot the three, even if I can't shoot the free throws, I can make them in spurts, or I can make them when it matters the most, or I can just make them in general, just because I'm smart enough not to let that take over my game, which I'm doing at my best, which is attacking the rim and finishing with fours and leaving nobody feared. I wanted people to fear me going to the basket. I want people to fear me taking over the game. And he has done that multiple times this whole decade, which is the 2020s. And I like what I seen out of Giannis. I still like what I see out of Giannis. I just think his teammates need to step their game up just a little bit more to support what he's been doing, and so they don't use him as much. I know they're getting older. I know you see the Titanic boat starting to sink a little bit, but they're young enough still, and Giannis is young enough still when he's healthy to still make another run at another title. And you can say that about a lot of guys on this list, but nobody has led them the way that like a guy like Giannis has. And he's been team LeBron versus team Giannis, or team Durant versus team Giannis. It makes perfect sense, but he has done what LeBron has done too, and that's why you got to give him a lot of credit, because nobody on this list has done it, and he has done it, and that's what is the point of him still being number one, because he's still been at a dominant level since he won that title. He just needs his teammates to step up and those big moments and consistently, and he still has to be dominant in the playoffs, which he has been, a little ridiculed for it, but at least he knows that you're not going to win it every year. You just want to have that opportunity, and you just got to be healthy to give it your best shot. And he understands that, and that's all that really matters when you're the franchise player, especially when you are already a guy that delivered a championship to a team like the Wisconsin Bucks, aka the Milwaukee Bucks. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and share. If you're new to the channel, check out my older videos. Also, so hit the notification bell to get more newer analysis. And remember, I got over 2,000 videos if you new or you old. Watch some of them old ones. Get some of the basis of what I'm about, what I'm trying to do, what I do well. Just like a Giannis, I've been able to lead this team Analysis Playground to championships, and I've been able to lead them in the right direction when it comes to being the best analyst you can go to for basically 365 for the most part. And if you feel that way, subscribe, and that's all I can say. Other than that, Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, signing out.